Right.
We going? Report at 5?
Yes.
All right, so we're on chapter 25, fish. There's a couple different major groups of fish that we'll study. Most fish are ray-finned fish. Ray-finned fish have fins that look like this with rays going through it. Now, rays are like hard supporting structures. Those are normal fins like you would see in any kind of fish. There's thousands of species of ray-finned fish, something like 23,000 species, something like that. It's a lot. You may not know about the lobe-finned fish. That's this group right here. That's a much smaller group. And they have different types of fins. They have flesh going into their fins, and muscle, and bone. And what makes them special is that small group, that they're what evolved into amphibians, which can crawl up onto the land.
Frog.
Like frogs. Wow. So most fish are ray-finned. Well, some of them are lobe-finned, like that. That's called a coelacanth there. I don't know if you've heard of that before. Now the fish have several parts that you may want to know about. First of all, they have scales. We'll talk about the different types of scales.
Scales?
Scales are for protection. And they also are, they have cells at their base that can secrete mucus that coats the fish and makes it slide through the water a lot easier. You know, a fish is all slimy and mucusy if you grab it. There's a line going down the fish. It's called the lateral line. That's used for sensing things, sensing the currents and such. It's kind of like, it has the same structure as your ear does. And your ear can sense very fine movements of air. The lateral line can sense very fine movements of water. There's the ray fins that I was talking about earlier. One of the things they have inside of them that's real important is the swim bladder. The swim bladder is a big container of air. And that helps the fish become buoyant, helps them float in the water. If you've ever watched a fish in a fish tank, it can rise up in the water and it can go down in the water without really swimming up or swimming down. It just can go up and down. How's it doing that? It takes gas from the water, oxygen from the water, and puts it into the swim bladder, and the swim bladder fills and it will rise up. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
How do sharks control their depth?
Through oils from their liver. Oils from their liver.
They have liver oil.
And their cartilage.
And the oil is light. The liver makes a bunch of oil, and that helps keep them up. And they also have to swim. They can swim upward in the water. But this swim bladder is a new, efficient, evolutionary advance that helps the fish control their depth. Sharks don't have it, so that's only found in the bony fish. What else do we have that's important and different? Two-chambered heart. Fish have a two-chambered heart. All fish do, even sharks. The gills. In a bony fish, the gills are covered by an operculum, which is a covering that goes over the gills. Sharks and cartilaginous fish don't have the gill covering. Anything else there that looks crazy? They have a single opening out of which comes poop and pee and eggs or sperm. A single opening, the urogenital opening. One hole for all. Isn't that great? Y'all don't seem too enthusiastic. Here are the different types of scales you find on different types of fish. Diamond-shaped scales, those are called ganoid. You have circular scales, those are called cycloid. And they aren't really truly circular, but they're kind of circular. And then ones that are shaped like a seashell, those are called stenoid. That word's pronounced stenoid. Can you say stenoid?
Stenoid.
All at the same time enthusiastically?
Stenoid.
Very nice. That's kind of shaped like that. We'll take a fish and we'll look at its scales in a couple of days. Friday we're doing that. What else do we got in here? Fish reproduction. So how fish reproduce is usually external fertilization. They fill up with eggs here. Look at the ovary there. That'll fill up with eggs. And then when it's the right time, they'll go find some other fish, and the female will squirt a bunch of eggs out, and the male will squirt a bunch of sperm onto the eggs. It happens outside in the water. Usually the fish will come to the same spot to do it in. It's often a bunch of fish around in one area, and they're all squirting eggs out, and they're all squirting sperm out, and sperm and eggs will just mingle in the water there. And when the sperm fertilizes the egg will start developing into a baby fish. So here's a bunch of eggs that have been fertilized, and you see a little baby fish inside developing? And that'll grow and grow until it takes all the nutrients out of the egg, and then it'll start swimming on its own.
Is caviar unfertilized eggs?
Yes, caviar, they take the fish when it's pregnant, and they take all the eggs out of it. Not pregnant, pregnant's not the right word. What's the word for having a bunch of eggs in you? It's
Fertile.
I can't remember. There's a word for being full of eggs. They'll open up the fish and they'll get the eggs out. What? No, it's not pregnant. Pregnant is when you have a fertilized egg inside you.
With egg.
With sperm.
You want to see fish spawning video?
Give it seed.
Fish spawning video. Coleman, can you get a light over there for me?
Oh, I'd love to.
Ensuring there is another generation is a dangerous journey, and finding a mate is the first step. Mandarin fish spend most of their lives secreted under rubble, their exquisite patterning criminally hidden from view. They choose the time to mate carefully. In the growing dusk, they stir like bashful gems. A furtive courting dance soon gives way to the risk of reverie. They drift above the reef and in a flurry of fins place their bets in the lottery of life. Fish show two main strategies for the game of chance. Produce a few eggs, and like the clown triggerfish, look after them very well. Or produce countless eggs, and cast them far and wide to face countless risks. It's a gamble, and nowhere is the gamble so dramatic as when a group decide to place the same bet at the same time. Unlike the secretive mandarin fish, surgeonfish use dusk to break cover on an extraordinary scale. Fitfully at first, courting pairs rise to release clouds of eggs and sperm. They're soon joined by others, and a frenzy ensues. In the fading light, their sex turns the reef's crystal waters opaque with clouds of hope. For them, and millions of others, this is the beginning of the greatest journey never told.
So wait, are there females within those?
Why is the Lobe?
Yeah, half of them are females and half of them are males. The females are squirting out eggs and the males are squirting out sperm. And so these things These things just float around in the ocean and can be eaten by organisms. You know what we call these things when they're just floating around in the ocean?
Vulnerable.
They are vulnerable.
Eggs.
Embryos.
Things floating around in the ocean that can be eaten by other things.
Plankton.
Plankton. Remember plankton? So that's what this is. This is part of plankton. Even when it hatches and becomes a little tiny fish, it's still planktonic. That's a couple words you should probably know in marine biology. Plankton is stuff that floats around with the currents. Even a little tiny, when this fish hatches from its egg, it's still so tiny it really can't fight the current. It has to just go with the current. But once it grows big enough, it can fight the current and swim wherever it wants to. Then it's not called plankton. You know what it's called?
Fish. Larva.
Nekton. Nekton can swim against the current. So you have plankton, tiny things that float with the current. You have nekton, bigger things that can swim against the current, like a fish or a shark or a whale. And then you have benthos. Guess what benthos is?
They live in the mud.
They live in the mud. Who said that? Good, man. Benthos live in the mud. They crawl around the bottom. So those are your three main groups of organisms in the ocean based on how they get around.
Are they in the benthic zone? Is that what it means? Like,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
Benthos are in the benthic zone. Crawl around in the mud.
Wow. Okay.
Fish vary from very small to huge. This is the biggest fish in the world, the ocean sunfish. Can reach 11 feet long and weigh up to 5,000 pounds. You ever seen an ocean sunfish before?
Yeah, there's a picture of one swimming and a seal bites like part of it, and it just like swims away. Very funny. I've seen one.
So a picture
That's
of
in line.
Video footage.
Pretty sure they made a Pokemon.
This is an ocean sunfish. One of the more peculiar looking creatures of the sea. They kind of look like a giant fish head with wings due to their underdeveloped tail fin. If you were to come across one of these guys in the ocean, you might be surprised. They can grow to over 3 meters in length and hold the record for the world's largest bony fish. You don't have to worry though. Some fish are completely harmless to humans and drift around mainly doing their own thing, like searching for jellyfish or basking at the water's surface for warmth. Once they reach adulthood, only a few predators are of concern, and they can succumb to orcas, sharks, and sea lions. Other than that, they enjoy a pretty carefree lifestyle. And it wouldn't be half bad as an ocean sunfish. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Giddy up.
Yeah, that
Did you
was
say giddy up?
Yes.
It's like that research lab flip. Oh, down there, was it?
No, the fish looks like the flip research lab.
Oh, the fish looks like that.
Are you resting?
So there are 27,000 species of ray-finned fish. And again, those are the ray fins there. Lateral line going down. Operculum, that's the gill covering. How about the names of the fins? Do you know the names of the fins?
Dorsal.
Fin 1 and fin 2.
Dorsal fin. They
Tail-
usually have two
tail
dorsal
fin.
fins.
Anal fin on the bottom.
This is called the caudal fin.
That's what I was talking about.
Caudal in the back. This is the anal fin. This is the pectoral fin. This is the pelvic fin. Dorsal, caudal, anal, pectoral pelvic.
How do you spell caudal?
Caudal is
Oh God. Not the guy.
Caudal. Caudal means tail. You alright? What's going on?
Like that.
So most fish are that. Now some fish are these lobe-finned fish. And so what happened with these lobes are, the lobes fins are used for these fish to crawl around on the bottom of the ocean. They actually crawl on their fins. They use their fins like arms and legs, and they crawl around the bottom, eating things. And it's some of these lobe-finned fish that actually crawled out of the ocean and onto the land. And they evolved lungs. They evolved the lung from, can you guess what they evolved the lung from?
Their
Swim bladder.
Their swim bladder. This swim bladder right here, if you think about it, that is a big container of oxygen inside the body. And if you have a big container of oxygen inside the body, well, that's pretty close to a lung right there. So all you need is a connection between it and your breathing tube here. Your esophagus, your trachea evolves, and bam, you breathe in air. And so that's what we see happen with these lobe-finned fish. Over millions of years, they evolve into the amphibians. And these lobed fins get larger and larger, and there you've got arms and legs. See video footage of it? This fish, it's called a coelacanth. It was thought to be extinct, and scientists had skeletons of them, but they didn't actually have the fish. They thought it went extinct 100 million years ago. And somebody caught one off the coast of South Africa. I think it was in the 1930s. And they were like, hey, not extinct. And actually the local peoples, they caught them all the time, but they didn't realize that it was not thought to exist. So that's kind of a neat story about the coelacanth, one of these lobe-finned fish.
Yeah. That one or this one? The red one? Starts eating everyone.
too.
I would have had to, I would have had to
You could
do
say you
right.
touched the sealer can.
I would have had to do right now.
I'm the first person ever.
I took the sealer can.
All right. So do me a favor, read this section on lobe-finned fish. Then you won't have any homework to do in this class. That'd be good. Let's do that now.